It was a chilly morning, and students were bustling into school, their voices echoing in the corridors as they hurried to their classrooms. Murni walked alongside her best friend, Sarah, as they traded jokes and chatted about the upcoming science project. Sarah was always brimming with energy, her laughter infectious. But it wasn't long before Murni noticed a small, telling detail about her friend: her shoes. Sarah's once white sneakers had faded into a dull gray. The soles were worn thin, and small cracks ran along the edges. Murni couldn't help but notice how Sarah shuffled her steps, as if trying to keep the shoes from falling apart. Most of the other kids didn't pay attention, but Murni did. Something about those shoes whispered a quiet story. Sarah never talked about it. She didn't complain or draw attention to herself. But to Murni, it was a sign. Her friend needed help. Murni thought about it all day. It wasn't like she could just buy shoes for Sarah. She didn't have the money, and asking her parents felt wrong. Sarah was proud, and Murni didn't want to embarrass her. But the thought of those worn-out shoes stayed with her, tugging at her heart. That night, as Murni prepared for bed, she made a quiet decision. She opened her piggy bank, an old tin box her uncle had given her, and counted her savings. A few coins. Hardly enough, but it was a start. From that day forward, Murni began saving her pocket money, little by little. She skipped treats at recess, turned down ice cream runs with her classmates, and even folded origami instead of buying paper crafts at the school market. Every time she added a coin to her box, she whispered a small prayer. Ya Allah, please help me do this. The days turned into weeks, and Murni kept her actions quiet. She didn't tell anyone, not even Sarah. This wasn't about being recognized. It wasn't about bragging or earning praise. It was something deeper, a quiet act of love and sincerity for her friend, and ultimately for Allah. Murni smiled to herself as she pictured Sarah's reaction when she would finally see the new shoes. The thought kept her motivated, even when saving became hard. After a month of small sacrifices, the tin box was finally full. Murni carefully counted the money again and smiled. She tucked the box under her bed and began planning her next step: buying the shoes. That weekend, she asked her older sister to accompany her to the market. Pretending she was buying a gift for her little cousin, Murni chose a pair of simple, sturdy sneakers that she thought Sarah would like. They were white, just like the pair Sarah used to wear before they wore out. Her sister teased her for being so picky about choosing shoes, but Murni just laughed it off, her heart bursting with anticipation. The next challenge was getting the shoes to Sarah without her knowing. Murni didn't want her friend to feel indebted or overly grateful. She wanted this to be a gift, not from her, but from Allah. Helping someone secretly felt more beautiful and fulfilling to her, like a small treasure shared only between herself and the Creator. On Monday morning, Murni arrived at school early, the sneakers tucked safely into a brown paper bag. The lockers in their classroom stood in neat rows, each labeled with a student's name. Nervously, Murni checked the corridor to ensure no one was watching. Then, with careful, quiet steps, she slipped the bag into Sarah's locker and closed the door. Ya Allah, she prayed silently. Please let this make Sarah smile. The morning passed quickly. When their break time approached, Sarah made her way to her locker as usual, chatting with some classmates as she went. Watching her from the corner of her eye, Murni felt her heartbeat quicken. Sarah pulled open the locker door, and for a moment her expression froze. What's this? Sarah asked aloud, pulling the paper bag out. Curious classmates crowded around her, peeking at the mysterious package. Murni turned away, pretending to fix her notebook while stealing glances at the scene. Sarah opened the bag and gasped. Her eyes lit up as she pulled out the white sneakers, holding them up for everyone to see. The classroom buzzed with excitement, but Sarah barely seemed to notice anyone else. Her thumb ran along the smooth leather of the shoes, and Murni saw something rare. Tears welling up in Sarah's bright eyes. Who did this? Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. Speculation spread through the classroom, with students throwing out wild guesses, but no one knew. Sarah looked around, trying to catch someone's gaze, someone who might give her a hint. But Murni kept her head down, hiding the smile threatening to spread across her face. Later, as Sarah walked to lunch, she wore her new shoes with pride, a hop in her step that hadn't been there before. Her laughter seemed louder, her energy even brighter. Watching from afar, Murni felt her chest warm with an unspoken joy. She thought about how some might boast if they had helped someone like this, looking for acknowledgement and praise. But Murni was different. She didn't seek validation from others. She found solace in knowing that Allah saw her actions, that He understood her intentions fully. That night, Murni knelt in prayer, the memory of the day still fresh. She thanked Allah for giving her the chance to help her friend. Ya Allah, she whispered, her voice soft. You are the only one who truly sees. I'm happy knowing that Sarah felt cared for today. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. As she finished her prayer, Murni smiled to herself. She didn't need recognition, applause, or even thanks. The feeling of knowing she had done something meaningful, a quiet act of care done merely for the sake of Allah, was enough for her. And in that moment, Murni felt a peace unlike anything she had known before. The next day at school, Sarah once again bounded up to Murni with her usual cheerful grin. They laughed and joked like any other day, and not once did Sarah mention her new shoes. Murni preferred it that way. Their friendship remained unchanged, but that silent act of kindness had made it all the more meaningful. It was a secret shared only in her heart, a gift given with sincerity, and an act of Ikhlas that reminded her of what truly mattered, that Allah sees every good deed, no matter how small, how hidden, or how humble.